Hello, class. I was wondering if it might be helpful if I made my own little video for you. So I am going to try to explain how to draw faces in a simple way. Hopefully you watched the video I sent you of the Andrew Loomis method. He was a very famous character drawer. So for comic books and things like that, he really created a great method for illustrators to get started. So this is the basic way to draw a face. I know it may seem complicated, but hopefully I can break it down for you and you will be able to look at your own photo or even a mirror to draw your own face. So things like a ruler, a photo or a magazine of a face, preferably from the front, would be the best. So I'm going to actually shift and try to show you the measurements first, and then I'm just going to go over a couple of things. There's thirds and then halves. So the first outer shape is a circle. This one is a little bit long, like an oval. They're telling you that the halfway point is where the line goes through her eye, and that is halfway between the top of the head and the chin. Okay, and I'll show you generally how to find the halfway point. But the halfway is gonna be where the eyes go across, and then that is gonna divide the face into two. However, your main face is actually a little bit lower, and this is called the hairline. And so from the hairline to the chin, they divide it up into three sections or thirds. The first third, you can kind of see over here, is from that hairline to the brow, so the eyebrow. The second third is from the brow to where the nose, the like bottom of the nose, so the little button nose there. That's the second third. And then the following third is the bottom of the nose to the chin. So within those sections, you can divide it up even further, but that is the basic thirds, okay? So now I'm going to kind of show you generally, but a couple really cool things is that the eye, the distance between the eyes is actually a full eye. So if you can measure one eye, then you can actually know that the distance between those eyes is one eye. So it's kind of like you had a third eye in between. That's how the distance is. Also, if you drew a line from the corner of the eye all the way straight down, you can see it creates these little boxes, and that's going to be where the corner of the nose and the corner of the mouth also lines up. Of course, if she was smiling, it would be a little bit different, but this is, of course, ideal measurements. Okay. So you want to start off with a rough circle. This is kind of like an oval shape. And you want to just draw a line straight down the center. I used a ruler, and I actually divided, I kind of roughed in like where my hairline is going to be using the picture I was showing you earlier, this one. You don't have to make it look exactly like this, but this is just what I'm using to start. So using that picture, I decided to use equal measurements of 2 inches each after I have the hairline. So the hairline begins this like magic third. So we have from the hairline to the first third, this is going to be the brow line. From the brow line, you're going to have another third to the bottom of the nose. So I'm going to draw my line there. You want to kind of keep it light. Of the nose to the little chin. So you can write this to the side if it helps you. You can also look at the sheet that I gave you. And generally, this is a great way to just get started. So sometimes people get overwhelmed and they don't know where to start. And one way that I do think is easy is if you at least get where the features are. So we know that our, in this second third, so if we're looking at the whole thing, the bottom of our nose is pretty easy to just kind of start looking at. So we know a nose has these two nostrils, right? And then has the little button, little kind of, it's made out of a circle, and so sometimes it's actually good to draw like a little circle. And this is, so I drew, like, sketched in a slight circle, and then I did two little arches. And everyone has different noses, but we're just kind of getting a general shape. And you don't want to draw super dark on your nose outside shapes, because those are going to be, you're going to use shading to show where those are. And then halfway, about from the bottom of the nose to where this chin is where the top of the lip are a little bit higher. I'm going to say the top of the lip. So the halfway point sometimes is that middle line, that middle lip. So you can actually draw a line and then create your bottom lip. In general, I wanted you to know that the lip, this is almost in a halfway point between this, the nose, and then the bottom of the chin. So the bottom of the chin, you can kind of measure as you go, like, and there should be an inch from here to there, from to there to there. So super sketchy at first as you get this started. The corners of the mouth and the corners of the nose should line up with one another. This is not always a perfect ratio, and obviously you want to look at a picture so that you can actually see what your person's dimensions are, but that is a trick that can help you. A lot of times you do have like a little shadow or dimple on the little edge of the mouth, but in general, your nose is actually a lot wider than usually you think it is, or whoever's nose it is. Okay. All right. So we have our brow line, and we know that our eyes are actually underneath our brows, right? So this is one of those things that you can actually just go down slightly and draw a line across, and it's going to be not quite halfway in between this third. So it's just a little bit lower than that brow line. I'd say almost a third of that third. I know that sounds complicated, but it doesn't have to be. And this is where it's kind of cool. Your eyes are about an eye's distance apart. So if you know one measurement of one eye, then you can take that same eye distance, put it in the middle, and then know where your second eye is going to be. So in this case, I kind of am eyeballing it. Haha. Y'all, no, that's not that funny. I'm going to scoot this a little closer. Another cool trick is the outside edge of your nose that aligns with the edge of your mouth should also align with the corner of your eye. Okay. And an eyeball is not just a big football shape. It is an orb that has lids over it. So it's actually helpful to think of, like, you can't always see the entire iris, the part that's colored, right? Because it has that lid over it. And I'm really, really sketchy, kind of similar to that other person who is telling you how to draw this. But I'm not wanting you to learn everything perfectly. I just want you to kind of generally know, okay, if I drew these little lines from the corner of my eyes straight down, it would touch the corner of my nose and the corner of the mouth. Okay? You want to add your little pupils. You want to probably reserve some highlights for the light once you start adding the shading. And then we have this first third, which is supposed to be the brow, right? And so you want to create your eyebrow. Even if it's as sketchy as I'm doing. You can kind of see that it's not just a big circle, it has a kind of an arch that goes up and then over. Okay, so it goes up. You can imagine the bones behind it creating this little cavity where your eye socket is. Okay, and then you can start thinking through things like the eyelid goes above your eye. Your face probably is not needing to be just a circle, so things like adding a little bit of a straight line here and then curving. You want to look at a picture as you do this. A lot of times your chin is not just a rounded part, but it has different planes. So you can trim off some of your extra. I may have had too much width for my head, so I just bring it in a little bit. You can add hair. And when you do start adding hair and shading, you do not need to draw every hair. That is way too much commitment. You actually can draw a few hairs and then add shading to kind of give them, it's like a block of material or something like that. You don't need to draw every hair in order for it to look accurate. So, oh, we do need to add ears, and the ears are gonna be from the top of the brow to the bottom, almost to the bottom of where the nose is. Y'all might want to actually look and create a couple little shadows of shapes to create some definition. That was a strange looking ear. I'm trying to do this video, but the ears that are the shapes that they showed in that example picture are a lot better. So if you look at her, she has some really nice little shapes that are just some slight shading, and that basically creates the illusion of three-dimensional space. So when you're doing that, you can just create maybe an outline there. This is a lot harder than it sounds, but I did this before, and that is what I got. So here's one ear. I have my slight shading. It's gonna start helping this come alive a little bit. If you add some shading underneath the nose and in between where the lips are and where the chin is, that's gonna help create a little bit more definition. Again, the more you practice this, the easier it will be. This is another cool example of if you draw a circle from the side even, then draw your halfway line. This is going to show you how much mass there actually is. If you draw like a line across, the whole back half is all hair, right? And so then you can go straight down, add your nose, add your mouth, chin, neck. These are a little bit more advanced, and so I don't want you to try to draw one on an angle yet. But I hope you enjoyed learning a little bit more about faces. Definitely look at multiple ones as you're trying to learn, and let me know how it goes. Bye-bye.